What's up guys, it's Justin Stenstrom from Elite Man Magazine, and in this video I'm going to share with you the top 5 ways to stay happy and not go crazy during the coronavirus pandemic. So as you know, we are currently in the midst of a global pandemic known as COVID-19, and as you also know, it really sucks. We can't do basically any of the things we used to do just a month or two before and go around and go to the movie theaters or go shopping or go to the bars or restaurants or see our friends or see our family. We can't do any of those things, and our way of living has been dramatically affected, and so we are basically stuck at home, left wondering what the hell we do now, because life is so boring when you have all your freedoms taken away and you're basically sitting in your home 24/7. So I'm basically here to save the day and share with you the 5 things that you can do to make sure that this pandemic doesn't suck as bad as it actually really does, and doesn't affect you and make you depressed or make you sad or make you lonely or make you just go crazy because you're all by yourself all day long. So let's dive right into it. The 5th most important thing, or the 5th recommendation that I have for you today, is actually something that I would never recommend if we weren't in a pandemic. I would actually probably say the opposite of what I'm about to say, and that is to actually use social media a little bit more than you normally would. Actually connect to those people on social media. It is the only way that we can connect with our friends and family in most cases. Use that social media and actually connect with them. Use it for what it was actually made to do. So we overuse it and use it the wrong way and spend too much time on it in normal situations. But in this situation, you actually want to use it a little bit more. You want to be on Facebook. You want to be on Instagram. You want to be on Snapchat where your friends are. You want to be making more posts. You want to be talking and communicating and talking through Messenger and texting and all that stuff. You want to be in contact with your friends because you can't see them. And if you're cooped up all day long, you're going to go crazy. And I will extend the social media definition to include that of actually Skype and Zoom as well. Or they have other Facebook like groups and different Facebook Lives and Instagram Lives, and there's different ways to bring people together. But basically what I'm saying is you want to get in contact with your friends as much as possible. Those group calls on Zoom chat are incredible. Those Facebook chats are incredible as well when you can bring people on, having a group chat on that. The Skype thing, same thing with that. When you can get in contact with your friends, especially your close friends or even your family, which is even better, say once, twice, 3 times a week. I mean, just doing a quick 20-minute call and having everybody connect and be there for each other during these tough times is incredible for your mental health and also your happiness. That's probably the only time I'll ever say that, but it's true. Using social media in this point in time is incredibly helpful for your mental health and happiness, and it's just going to help you feel connected to those people you can't see, because you probably already haven't been able to see them for a few weeks, maybe even a few months in some cases, in some places. And that might actually even extend to another few, probably definitely a few more weeks, but maybe even a few more months. And they're even saying, some crazy people are saying, a year or 2 before things would get back to normal and you could potentially see some of these people. So while you have the chance right now, before you go completely off the deep end, start using social media a little bit more to stay connected, and use those calls, those group calls, to get people together and actually chat with your loved ones. 4th thing to do during this pandemic is to actually exercise. I know you don't have your gym. I know you don't have your favorite machines. I know you don't have your favorite free weights that you used to use all the time. I'm suffering with this currently myself. But the truth is, you still have to exercise. Try to exercise as much as, if not more, than what you were doing before, because I know you probably, like everybody else, or at least most people out there who aren't stuck working the same amount of hours, unfortunately, the essential workers out there, but you probably, like most people, have a lot more time on your hands. Use that time productively and actually exercise. It's a twofold effect. Not only are you going to feel better when you exercise because you have a release of incredible hormones like endorphins and GABA and serotonin and all those feel-good hormones that make you feel good directly after exercising and then extend hours afterwards, in fact, to help you feel better throughout the day, give you better sleep, all those great effects that come with it. Not only are you going to do that, but you're also going to stay in shape when things get back to normal again. You don't want to be the guy who gains 20 pounds, 30 pounds of fat. You don't want to be the woman who gains 20 pounds of fat and looks terrible, and the summer's coming right up and you can't fit into that bikini that you wanted to fit in. Just stay in shape now, because this is the time to do it. To put in the hard work now when you're miserable and you have to put in hard work and you can't do those fun things anymore. Do the serious work now, because it's going to pay off when you have the time to do those fun things later on. If you neglect this time and you neglect your body, you're going to be paying for it later on. Third best way to stay happy during this pandemic is to learn a new skill. Whether that be learning how to play guitar, whether that be learning how to cook, whether that be learning how to speak a new language, or whether that be how to be an online marketer so you can have an extra side job or even a new job, because the economy is probably going to collapse in a few months or a year or so anyways. You might as well start preparing for something like that and build yourself up to a point where you can make side income or even a new full income. Those are all incredible things. The point is to keep yourself busy, learn a new skill, dive into something that you're really passionate about or interested in, or something that you really think is going to be important to you in the next coming months or years that you can dive into now. You probably, like I mentioned before, have a little extra time to do these types of things. And if you don't, and you are an essential worker, when you come home, spend your time learning something. Don't just think that you have to watch Netflix all day, you have to watch TV or movies because you're in this quarantine. Use that time productively. Even if you don't have more time, you still will have time to do these types of things, and learning a new skill is so important. There are two types of people that are going to come out of this quarantine. The first type of people are going to be the people that use their time wisely and actually improve themselves and are better off because of the quarantine. And then there's a second type of people who actually did nothing during the quarantine, watched Netflix all day, ate a bunch of crap all day, and didn't actually learn anything new or use their time wisely. Those are the people who are going to be much worse off, and don't let that person be you. The second best way to stay happy during this quarantine and make sure you don't go crazy is to actually accept that you can't change anything that's happening. Accept that you have to accept your new reality for the next period of time, whether that be the next 3-4 weeks or the next 3-4 months, or dare I say it, the next 3 to 4 years, which who the hell knows if that's even possible. That's probably not going to happen. I would rather die before that happened, to be honest with you, because I would never want to live my life without the liberties and freedoms I have today. Living this type of way for 3 to 4 years I think is miserable, and probably most people would agree. However, whatever amount of time it is, accept that you can't actually change it. Now, should you fight for your beliefs? Should you post about what you're thinking on social media and post about the truths that you believe in and that we should get things going sooner rather than later and those types of things? I've talked about that in other videos. I'll talk about that again in future videos. Yes, you should be vocal about those types of things. Yes, you should express your opinions and have your opinions. But at the end of the day, and this is something I actually had to deal with in my own head because I was so passionate about one thing and had so many plans, like everybody else. I had so many plans going on for the month of April and then the month of May, and also even when this really started coming on the end of March, there was some plans that I had going on and some different things that got affected by that. I had to go through this in my own head of being upset about what was going on and being upset about the direction things were going. I had to actually just take a step back and let it all go and accept it. And the minute I actually accepted the circumstances of what was happening in my life and what was happening in the world, was the minute I found peace. Am I happy about all this stuff? No. But I found peace and contentment in the fact that I can't change it, and trying to get upset and aggravated and trying to always think about it and obsess about it and be in control of the situation and try to always post about it like I was posting about it all the time and talking about it all the time. Just taking a step back from all that and sort of surrendering to the fact that you can't really change it is so empowering. It allows you to focus your mind on so many more important things and actually focus on the things that really matter. The material world is very important, and in many ways, it is all we see in this dimension of reality that we all live in. However, there's something more important, and that is found inside you. And this time of quarantine, this time of social isolation, this time of everything shut down, is, I think, a good way for people to look inside themselves and stop looking like I was for a long period of time, in which I'm not perfect, I'll still do that at times, but a way to look back into yourself and figure out that the true happiness comes from within here, and the material world is out there, and we'll get all those things back again. But being in touch with what's in here is the most important thing, and I think this actually can be a blessing in disguise in many ways, and I think this is one of the best ways that it can be that. Really, what it all comes down to is gratitude, being grateful for everything that you have. That's kind of the key to being happy in such a shitty time, in such a crisis, in such a pandemic that's affecting so many people and that's just affected everybody's way of living. That's really the key. Being grateful for the little things that you have. Being okay with just letting go for a bit. We're not saying to forget about everything that's going on. We're not saying to not have your opinions or have your beliefs and want to get back and do the things that you were doing before and have those plans and live life to the fullest like you were living before. I'm not saying that you have to let all those things go. What I'm simply saying is focus more on the internal, focus more on yourself, and be appreciative and grateful for all the things that you do have. You could be one of those people that died. You could be one of the people who had a loved one who died. You could be someone who's going to be affected by this and will die, or something will happen bad, something bad will happen to you at some point. You can't focus on all those types of things. You got to focus on what's inside and what you have right now. Even these smallest things in life, that breath that you have every time you have a breath in and out, that is a blessing. And you got to think about that as a blessing. You got to be grateful for that. You got to be grateful for the hot running water that you have. You got to be grateful for the heat that you have. You got to be thankful for the roof over your head. You got to be thankful for the dog that you have, the pet that you have. All the littlest things in the world are what can bring you the most gratitude. And thinking about those things is the secret key to being happy in such a chaotic time, and really the recipe for never going crazy because you're stuck and worried about the material world. You're worrying about all those things that you can't control. Be grateful for the things that you have and the things that you can control. And the number one way to stay happy and not go crazy during the pandemic is honestly basically related to the last point I just made, which is thinking about the internal as opposed to the external. You have to separate yourself, separate your mind, your spirit, your emotions, your feelings from the outside world and bring them internally. And the best way to do that, the number one way to do that, is to meditate. For someone who hasn't, for you, those of you listening right now who've never meditated before, you're missing out. For those people watching this video right now who are just spending their time watching Netflix or watching movies that they've seen a million times before, or mindlessly scrolling through Facebook or social media, we talked about the importance of using that to connect with your friends, but it doesn't mean to go and spend your time all day long on social media because you just want to scroll through mindlessly and click a bunch of stupid videos and pictures and memes and crap like that. That's not what I'm talking about. The purpose of doing what we're talking about today is to improve yourself, to actually be one of those people who is actually better off at the end of this quarantine as opposed to one of the people who's going to be worse off. And many people, unfortunately, many of the people who don't watch videos like this will be way worse off at the end of this quarantine. And I think only a few people, a select few, maybe 20% of the population will actually be improved by this quarantine. But those who are improved by the quarantine will be exponentially improved. They'll be so much more improved in their lives. And I think the best way to do that is to practice meditation every day. Even if you do it for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, maybe even up to an hour if you get really good at it and you love it as much as I do and much as many other people do who start to actually do it every day. But the point here is to meditate as much as possible, to look internally, to be grateful for the things that you have, and to think about all those things that you want. When you can feel those feelings of gratitude, when you can feel those feelings of being in the present moment, of being in the now, all the craziness from the world, the external world, goes away. You don't think about those types of things. You don't worry. You don't stress about tomorrow or the next day or the day after that. You don't dwell on the past. You don't have depression where you're thinking of all the things that you missed out on, all the things that you wish you had, all the things that you wish went differently because this pandemic happened or before the pandemic happened and it affected those types of things. When you think internally, when you think about what's in front of you, when you think about the present moment, and all these things happen during meditation at different points, all these incredible feelings and emotions come about: the gratefulness, the gratitude, the happiness, the contentment, the feeling that you're going to be okay, the feeling that you are okay, the feeling that you're loved, the feeling that you will be loved, the feeling that you matter, the feeling that you're important. All those things happen during meditation. It's really a special type of practice. It's an incredible, almost magical type of thing when you can start meditating and do it correctly. And it's simple as just following your breath in and out and breathing in and out and focusing on one thing. Single point meditation is the easiest way to meditate, and I highly recommend you start doing it. Well, that's it for today, guys. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like below and also share in the comment section which one of these 5 things you're going to start doing today. Which one of these things sticks out to you the most, and which one of these things do you want to implement into your life so that you can be one of the people who comes out of this quarantine better than ever? I want to know. Leave a comment below. Also, subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Hit the notification bell to get notified the instant we release a new video. And lastly, follow me on Instagram at Justin Stenstrom.